As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I am joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning from Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, a deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solution and Applications, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications. Welcome our guest speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, IAS, retired. Former Chairman, Competition Commission of India, Founder Chairman, Competition Advisory Services, LLP, and former Secretary to Government of India, former Executive Director of the World Bank, and the participants from India and abroad attending this webinar on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is an international webinar series being organized by the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, on every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Today is 26th December 2020. Sir, under this international webinar series, these two centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, have organized 15 lectures so far, namely Open Technologies to Provision Simple and Economical IT Infrastructure, a roadmap for students using free and open source software and reaching goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat, open source software and industrial IoTs for SMEs, free and open source software adoption and business models, open data platform for smart digital government, technology imperatives, make in India for clients, edge artificial intelligence, data governance for self-reliant India, digital India transforming governance and society, India email service citizen@indiamail.com in 22 constitutionally recognized languages, ecosystem architecture for digital transformation, which was given by Shri J. Satyanarayana, IAS retired former Secretary to the Government of India, education systems, cyber critical infrastructure, seizing opportunities in open innovation, and value creation network in the digital world for self-reliant economy, given by Dr. Jabamalai Vinanji Arachi, former principal advisor to the Director General, UNIDO, ensuring food safety and compliance through technology, and Digital India, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India. Today is the 16th edition. We will have the talk by the distinguished Indian Administrative Officer of 1968 batch and an eminent competition law expert of the country, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, Administrator, on the topic Technology Investment in Agriculture Value Chain, Role of Foreign Direct Investments. In this webinar series, the topic is a growing list: technology imperatives, open technology, open system, open infrastructure, open source software for open infrastructure, open hardware for open infrastructure, open data platform, open banking, open insurance, open innovation, value creation network, human resources development, startups in open technology, open society, industry 4.0 and industry 5.0, co-working with man-machine interface, edge computing, edge artificial intelligence, data governance, deriving big value from big data analytics, Digital India, transforming governance and society, India email service, open digital ecosystem, cyber critical infrastructure, dark data, dark cloud, dark web, dark net, technology-enabled food value chain, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing to make digital India a way of life in India, and technology investment. Technology investment in agriculture value chain, role of FDIs. The keywords are technology investment, agriculture value chain, foreign tax investment, and what its role. Agriculture sector is the foundation of Indian economy. It employs more than 50% of India's workforce and contributes almost 17 to 18% of its GDP. At present, agricultural livelihoods are being severely impacted world over as a result of anthropogenic global warming, climate change, and India is labor intensive and subsistence based agriculture sector is particularly vulnerable to this development. Climate change has got both the direct and indirect effects on agriculture productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, flooding, and changes in the geographical distribution of pests and diseases. Indian agriculture confronts with its sheer complexity, inadequate factors of production, weather uncertainties, multiplicity of schemes, and multiplicity of institutions. The Indian farming community comprises of about 14 crore operational farm holders, of which 85% farmers having small and marginal size operational holding. Farmer needs timely, location specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. Many national level programs, namely Digital India 2015, Make in India 2015, Skill India 2015, Startup India 2015, Stand Up India 2015, have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, and that too at small and marginal farmers. ICT enabled agriculture services, digitalization of agriculture and farm extension 4.0 were deliberated in the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report. And in volume 12B, chapter 7 to 10, Empowering the Farmer Through Extension and Knowledge, volume 11. In its volume 12B, the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 committee report, which submitted its report in 2018, has suggested strategic use of digital technology in farming systems life cycle through 7 mission mode projects, namely digitalized agriculture through 3 categories of verticals: smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions, digitalized agricultural resources information system, and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming, digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities, digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers, digitalized integrated land and water management system, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss. This will facilitate One Health, Eco Health, integrating farmers' health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fishery health. Atmanirbhar Bharat is the road ahead. Prime Minister Modi's 5 I's to make India a self-reliant economy is the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Making India a self-reliant nation rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation, based on 5 pillars: economy, quantum jump, not incremental; infrastructure, one that represents modern India; systems, 21st century technology driven; vibrant demography, source of energy for self-reliant India; and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. This was announced on 15th May 2020 by the central government through a special and comprehensive economic package of rupees 20 lakh crore that accounts for 10% of India's GDP to bring the economy back on track. Vocal for local to make it global, a demand-based economy system which is self-producing and self-consuming. The reforms around have been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, and futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chain. This is our intent. Agriculture sector gets about 1.5 lakh crore booster. Rupees 1 lakh crore to agriculture cooperative societies and farmer produce organization and startup, and about 10,000 crores for formalization of micro food enterprises, about 20,000 crores for PM's Matsya Sambada Yojana to pay for additional fish production of 70 lakh tons for 5 years, rupees 13,000 crores to achieve 100% vaccination of cattle, buffaloes, sheep, goats, and pigs, rupees 15,000 crores for animal husbandry infrastructure, and rupees 4,000 crores for promotion of herbal cultivation to cover 10 lakh hectare under herbal cultivation in 2 years, and rupees 500 crores for beekeeping initiative. We are in the digital world. There is a rise of platform economy, application of big data, new algorithms, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, the cloud computing is changing the nature of work and structure of economy. Digital platform economy is emerging. Digital ecosystems are essential for digital transformation in the digital world. Digital disruption is taking place in agriculture, and we need large-scale investment in the area of technology for agricultural sector, digital technology to be more specific. And foreign direct investment is an investment made by a firm or individual in one country into business interests located in another country. It can be of 3 types: horizontal FDI, vertical FDI, and conglomerate FDI. Why this technology investment is a necessity in India? Technology is a sum of techniques, skills, methods, and processes used in the production of goods and services, or in the accomplishment of objectives such as scientific investigations. Technology is an exacting space that includes trend from artificial intelligence to smartphones, blockchain, self-driving technology, software as a service, Internet of Things, etc., etc. An area full of opportunity, but also with a risk. On December 5th, 2020, Dr. Jabamali Vinanchi Arachi, former Principal Advisor to Director General, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, addressed this webinar on the topic, Seizing the Opportunities in Open Innovation and Value Creation Network in the Digital World for Self-Reliant Economy. India needs to seize the opportunities in open innovation and value creation network in the digital world. That is true for agricultural sector. On 12th December 2020, Dr. Arpita Mukherjee, professor at the Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations, New Delhi, addressed on the topic ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. In this webinar, it was moderated that the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan in agriculture should include digital infrastructure, namely predictive analytics, automated labeling, wearable technology, blockchain technology, and traceability in value chain, artificial intelligence-based analysis, IoT-based sensors, and chemical analysis. Why IoT? Artificial intelligence, big data, and smart farming is the future of agriculture. The digital technology, drivers for the future of agriculture, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, spatial technology, geomatics technology, blockchain technology, cloud computing, fog computing, edge computing, mobile computing, social media, big data analytics, and smart farming for the benefit, for the facilitation of the 14 crore operational farm holders in the country, out of which 85% of the operational farm holders are small and marginal farmers. And the weather decision technology alone is very important to uplift the small and marginal farmers. And we had two presentations in this earlier in the webinar. DTN.com works with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, uses big data to improve yields and profitability through their weather decision technology. Bayer uses big data to ensure sustainable food production, an application that uses machine learning and artificial intelligence in weed identification. There are many organizations, forecasting company talks about lot of technology trends. They were tracking about 150 technologies, useful for country to facilitate digital, platform economy, and 25 technology which will define the next decade is all artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, wearables and augmented humans, big data and augmented analytics, intelligent spaces and smart places, blockchain, distributed ledger, cloud, fog, edge computing, digitally extended realities, digital twins, natural language processing, robots, nanotechnology, 3D printing, quantum computing, robotic process automation, digital platforms, mission core creativity, and 5G, and so on and so forth. The present and future of food tech investment opportunity. There is no big industry on our planet than food and agriculture. With a consistent, loyal customer base of 7 billion. In fact, the World Bank estimates that food and agriculture comprises about 10% of the global GDP. In recent years, Agri-Tech innovators have created exciting new ways to harness the power of technology to enhance the world of food supply. Agriculture technology is on the path of true disruption. They are rising. They are the rise of problem solvers. And capital flows to agri-tech startups are set to remain robust in the year ahead as innovations fuel digitization of farm sectors. We talked about 7 mission mode projects for digitalization of farming sector in India. If the 7 mission mode project, as recommended by the Doubling the Farmer's Income by 2022, and the recently approved farm laws can create at least one agri-tech ICT enabled startup in every Gram Panchayat. It means that there is a possibility of establishing or creating 2.25 lakhs agri-tech startups in the country to help and facilitate 14 crore operational farm holdings in the country, to facilitate about 400 agriculture commodity value chain. And this will be a very challenging area. And today's topic is that technology investment in agriculture value chain. Even though India is a country, it is named as a superpower in IT, but we need large scale technology investment in the country. And one technology, which I talked about it briefly in my introduction, is essential for agriculture. India is an agrarian economy, and Indian agrarian economy has to be a digitalized agrarian economy, is digital platform in agriculture to take India forward. And I would like to, this is the farmers are the most affected among all the levels of the systems in agriculture system, and they need a sound infrastructure, and they, to have the sound infrastructure, IT infrastructure, and the related technology are more important. Let us now turn to the address on technology investment in agriculture value chain, role of FDIs by Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, who is our chief guest today. This topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com/Soviet University India or youtube.com/Soviet University India for motivating them to establish Agri-Tech startups in agriculture value chain to facilitate digital platform economy in the agriculture. Let me introduce our guest speaker to the participants of this webinar. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, IAS retired. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar is a veteran government officer, joined Indian Administrative Service in 1968 batch, served in the government in senior positions at central and state Haryana government levels and in the World Bank 2005 to 2009 as India's executive director on the board representing India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Bhutan. At central level, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar was the Secretary to Government in several key ministries, including defense production, road transport and highways, and culture, and he was responsible for several major policy initiatives and implementation. His term as Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Telecom during 1998 to 2002 witnessed the migration policy and explosion of cellular telephony, internet, rollout of fiber, etc., etc. He served as first chairman of the Competition Commission of India during 2009 to 2011 during its initial formative years and set up as country's market regulator. He thereafter chaired the several government committees on policy formulation. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar worked as India's resident director in London of India Investment Center during 1983 to 86 under the Ministry of Finance and to promote investments and joint venture from United Kingdom and Europe to India. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar belonged to Haryana cadre and served many among other positions as Principal Secretary to Chief Minister and Chairman Haryana State Industrial Development Corporation, and he has been credited with industrial development including Udyog Vihar and Manesar. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar was conferred National Citizen Award by Mother Teresa for his outstanding contribution in the development of industrial parks in the state of Haryana. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar was awarded honorary doctorate in recognition of outstanding contribution in public affairs. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar is currently the founder chairman of Competition Advisory Services, LLP, a strategic consultancy firm in competition law and policies, advising several multinational companies and prominent law firms, and he is also very active on global lecture circuit. He writes frequently on contemporary issues. Sir, we welcome to the webinar series, and I would like to request you to address the participants in this international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India. Over to our chief guest, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar.
Thank you, Professor Mani. Thank you for your very kind and generous words. I am grateful to you, first of all, for inviting me to this prestigious platform and also for introducing me with so generous words. Let me also mention in the beginning that I am grateful to Shobhit University for the affection I have enjoyed with them for long years. And if I can mention that the honorary doctorate which Professor Mani mentioned about me was also awarded to me by Shobhit University exactly on this day, 26th December, 10 years ago in 2010. And I really feel grateful for this. In fact, their Chancellor, Mr. Shekhar Kumar, also paid a visit to me in the World Bank when I was there. And it was such a delight to have him when he went there to attend a conference. So I can share some of the photos of the doctorate awarding ceremony in Meerut, and also when Mr. Shekhar Kumar visited me in the World Bank in my office there. So I really appreciate the affection which I enjoyed through them, and today for this invitation. Let me make a beginning. First of all, mentioning about Indian agriculture and in history. In India, agriculture is not an economic vocation alone. It is a way of life. The entire family of the people dependent there in villages, 14 crore families, as Professor Moni mentioned, are dependent on it. Everybody contributes. And it has such a strong and diverse linkages with Indian economy, Indian health in terms of nutrition, and in India's exports, India's imports, decision on various policies over a period of time.
Sir, your presentation is not visible. Just to see that.
Okay, let me see how best to make it visible. Can you just give me half a minute? शेयर भी जाएगा जी देखो पहली स्लाइड दिखा देना ये भी दिखा दिया Is it visible now?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Even now it's not visible?
Not visible, sir. No, you can forward the presentation then.
Yeah, sure. इनको भेज दो ये दिखा देंगे. It has also been sent to you, Professor
Okay.
Mani, in case.
Just 1 minute.
Kindly get it loaded there, and we can start accordingly. Mail कर दूं मैं इनको. Has it reached you on mail?
Yeah, I'm just uploading.
Yes, please. I'm sorry about this technical snag.
No problem.
शेयर पे नहीं जाएंगे या नहीं दबेंगे
हाईलाइट नहीं हो रहा मतलब हाईलाइट होना चाहिए मतलब क्लिक नहीं हुआ चाहिए
Sir, I will now upload. I will upload now, and then you please tell me next. I will move on. Okay.
All right. Please go ahead. But has it reached you for uploading?
Yeah. Now, is it visible to you?
It is visible to me as well. Yes.
Okay. Now you start that. Okay.
All right.
Shall I move down?
Yes. Let me begin.
Okay.
Let me begin by tracing the history of Indian agriculture. Just a minute. इधर से करें?
Yes. जी.
नहीं चल रहा है.
वहाँ से करना.
Can we go to slide number 4?
Okay.
Yeah, here it's okay. Let me begin by visiting the Indian agriculture during the course of the history when we were hugely dependent on foreign countries. I'm talking of after independence and then situation prevailing in 1954, and from there until now when we are going to talk about Atmanirbharta. So Indian agriculture time machine, that's what I'm talking about. Can we go to the next, please? Yes. So what I did, I searched out some press reports from New York Times through their archives, and what it came out that in 1954-55, 4 tractors from Moscow arrived in India at a price of $877 each, and that was the first step taken towards mechanization and towards progress in modernization of Indian agriculture. Next, please. Next one, please. The Indians were praised at that time for their efforts, but the China story was slightly better than us. Although China was nowhere near what they are today, and we were comparable, but they were slightly better in use of seeds and inputs. A policy innovation was proposed by India in 1961 when the DG of ICAR, Vinay Raja Sen, he proposed a plan to the UN Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld when he suggested that a corpus of $400 million food reserve may be created, which could be used instead of money to finance development of economically retarded areas. Next, please. A Thanksgiving Day was dedicated to Indian agriculture, variety and farmers in 1961, and the press clippings which I have culled out, they would demonstrate that. Next, please. In 1966, 29 November, the reports were that India's port facilities could barely meet the country's annual import needs. We were heavily dependent on imports of food grains at that time. Next, please. India's conclusion was that we had to know more about fundamentals, the climate, soil, water, what to grow where, and get better technologies in order to be self-reliant. We're talking of that time, 1967. Next, please. 1969, there was a talk of green revolution in New York Times that it is transforming Indian farming. And you would recall that Professor Norman Borlaug, he was credited with the first green revolution in India. And at that time, the most pessimistic experts, they felt that self-sufficiency may not be assured until 1976 or 77, but they did agree that it is on the way. Next, please. 1980, even after a severe drought, there was enough food in the country to feed its 630 million people. So from a statistical point of view, self-sufficiency had been attained, and therefore we can say that over a period of time from 1954 till 1980, we had at that time achieved a certain degree of self-sufficiency. I thought I'll quickly mention a few words about it when we are talking about Atmanirbharta. Can we go, please? Next. We have come a long way, isn't it? This was from 54 to 80, but the future, when we are talking of exponential growth between now and future, is something which we are going to talk in the presentation today. Next, please. Have a quick look at the India's agriculture sector. It accounts for 16% of India's GDP. It's a source of livelihood for 58% of the population. The gross value added is 368 billion. Total agricultural exports is 38 billion. 13% of the gross bank credit is used here. I won't go into more details, but the share of agriculture to total employment has been gradually coming down, and naturally so, as economy diversifies and progresses. The share of agriculture comes down and the share of services and manufacturing goes up. Next, please. As of October 2020, this year, IMF estimated India's GDP to be about 2.59 trillion US dollars. In fact, we are on our way soon to be a $3 trillion economy. But for COVID shock, we would have attained it already, but we are on the way there. And in 2019, World Bank estimated that 16% of India's GDP comes from agriculture, forestry, and fishing. And these graphs indicate the growth in agriculture and the percentage of agriculture, forestry, and fishery percentage to GDP coming down. Next, please. The agricultural value chain in India tried to demonstrate here the pre-harvest and the post-harvest. The pre-harvest, you need seeds, fertilizer, crop protection, farm equipment, irrigation, insurance. These are the inputs. The farming process, we need the food grain, horticulture, commercial crop, poultry, livestock, dairy, fishery. And then in the processing, post-harvest, aggregate, storage, logistics, wholesale aggregators, distributors, warehousing, logistics, cold storage, and processing ancillary services, organic food, etc., and consumption from farm to fork is something we have to see the entire value chain and how we can make the entire process more efficient in terms of the inputs, in terms of the farming, in terms of the storage, logistics, ancillary services, and consumption. So the entire process has to be reviewed to see how best we can avoid losses, how best we can get the most nutritious food on the table of the consumers. Next, please. This table shows some key agricultural statistics, the All India, and identifying starting points for Atmanirbharta. The share of agricultural exports to national export is 11.9%. That was 18 to 18-19, but now it may be different. Share of agricultural imports to national import is 3.81. And this figure we would like to bring down to 0. And in the subsequent slide I have shown what is the composition of this. We can leave out the rest. Can we go to the next, please? These are the imports, various commodities which constitute 3.81% of India's total export. There are, of course, cashew, pulses, spices, etc., etc. One of the interesting comment I heard last night by Amitabh Bachchan in Kaun Banega Crorepati, that 600 crore worth of hing is being imported from Afghanistan and Iran in India. And there was somebody from Himachal Pradesh who had started growing hing in Himachal Pradesh. This was in that context he mentioned. So we do need to diversify, we do need to substitute, produce some of these things in India and bring down this import, which is valued at 1.37 lakh crores to 0 if we want to achieve Atmanirbharta. So that is something which I wanted to highlight through these slides. Next, please. And again, this is part 2 of that earlier slide of 1.37 lakh crores. So some of these things which are imported, processed vegetables, tobacco, poultry products, etc., we can leave out the details and this will be referred to in this slide if it is required. Next, please. The exports, the figure of exports, we are a net exporting country now from the earlier situation of net importing country. The exports are 2.75 lakh crores and a lot of items which include buffalo meat, spices, rice, basmati rice, cotton, raw, etc. They are exported out of the country. And the objective would be to maximize these exports to grow those commodities where India has an edge, depending on its agroclimatic conditions and soil conditions. And we should increase our exports and bring down our imports in order to achieve full Atmanirbharta in this sector. Next.
Hello, sir.
Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. In this slide, I have tried to show the global status of various countries in agriculture production and there where do we stand. India's agricultural exports, it ranks at 13th position. Today, the entire world is interconnected. Every country is importing something and exporting something. So our exports rank at 13th position and it accounts for 2.4% of the global export. The value of our export is 38 billion US dollars. Next, please. The global status of various countries, I brought this slide to show that US is at number 1 and Netherlands, which has only 1.26% of India's land area, it is at number 2. And India is at number 13. So I wanted to demonstrate that we have to increase our productivity. We have to increase the efficiency of our agriculture if we want to rise in the world tally. Imagine Netherlands, they are at number 2, just 1.26% of our land area. And the value is much more than us. Our value is 38 billion. Their value is 101.2 billion, and they are exporting flowers and fruits and stuff like that, high value products. Next, please. India's position in world agriculture today, I tried to show where we are at number 1 and number 2. We are at number 1 in jute, buffaloes, milk. We are at number 2 in cattle, number 3 in cereals. Likewise, we are at number 2 in cotton, vegetables, tea, fruit, potatoes, onion, goats, along with China. Next, please. As I said just now, the world is more dependent on food imports today than what it was 20 years ago. So the agriculture of all the countries, it's interconnected. So we can see this slide which shows that everybody is importing something and exporting something. And today we are not much dependent in imports, as I tried to show from the earlier slides when I picked up some press clippings from New York Times. Next, please. India and some in terms of production, percentage of specific crops, like for example, in terms of paddy, in terms of wheat, and so on, where we stand as compared to some other countries globally. That in paddy we are 21.89%, China is 27.63%. In wheat we are at 12.77%, China is 17.41%. In maize we are just 2.53%, USA is 32.69%. In pulses, we are almost at the top. Sugarcane 16, Brazil is 41, and groundnut is 19, China is 36. So that's how we stand in the global tally. But we need to rise through increasing our productivity, we have to compare with the best in the world and reach the benchmark levels. Next, please. Now, here I have tried to show what has been the impact of COVID-19 on India's agriculture sector. A number of items, number of areas where it was detrimental to India's agriculture. We have tried to show that in inputs, for example, in seed, there was a drop in sales, agricultural insurance, sugarcane, plantation crops. In poultry, there was a drop because there was a drop of maize market price and it's used there. Farm equipment, horticulture, poultry, soybean, food, floriculture. But surprisingly, there was a positive impact in a number of areas. Rice was one of the biggest harvest in the last 5 years. Record fertilizer sales, fisheries, aquaculture, and as I will demonstrate in subsequent slides, in terms of startups, in terms of digital economy and linkages, there was a very positive improvement during this COVID period. Can we go to the next, please? There is a very good study which I have referred to, Excel Omnivore study. And in this study, which came up during December only this month, the impact of COVID-19 on India's agri-tech sector has been analyzed. And it has been found that while the food supply chain inputs, etc., have been badly affected, as I said, it has gained tremendously in farmer platforms, B2B, agri marketplaces, rural fintech business, farm to consumer brands, app-based agri advisories, etc., saw impressive growth. And there are a number of reasons which I've tried to explain. For example, now people are very conscious of health, whether the food is good enough to reach their table. So they want to trace the origin from the farm to the consumption and so on. So digitally, it is possible to track. Pandemic helped a shift from traditional, informal and analog markets towards innovative, formal and digital ones. Agri-tech startups came up in a big way to ease lockdown-led bottlenecks and to avoid traveling, aggregation in input and output side, and build on digital technology. There was a new potential for direct trade between farmers and agri stakeholders, such as traders, processors, and exporters, and thus disintermediation. Can we go to the next, please? Some more findings. 85% of the agri-tech startup across value chain saw spike in demand of their products and services. Horticulture saw maximum growth, 80%, farm finance 71%, aquaculture 70%. Farm machinery also, Escort, for example, their shares went up and saw increased demand, 69%. Dairy, crop advisory, post-harvest services, agri inputs, they all saw increase. Increase in demand boosted fundraising, and as we would see later, a number of investors, they came up in a big way enthusiastically and funded our startups. The momentum is likely to continue. B2B farmer platforms and agri marketplaces like Ninja Cart, AgroStar, Dehat, AquaConnect, etc., they achieved rapid scale up in the past few years. Earlier they were a little slow, but now they have suddenly caught up. They've exceeded the pre-COVID levels. So they seamlessly connected stakeholders digitally after breakdown of traditional supply chains, and farmers' requirement for inputs and crop-related advice needs led to sharp upstick in demand. Ninja Cart was back to pre-COVID levels soon. Crop advisory startups, they saw 18 times increase in their app installs. Next, please. There was a sharp emergence of farm to consumer brands due to food safety concerns, as I said, because people wanted safe and traceable products, vertically integrated, end-to-end farm to home platforms. There was a strong demand. Demand surge and push towards traceability seen across categories ranging from fresh fruits and vegetables, meat, seafood, dairy, F2C brand like Country Delight. Even I get my milk direct from the source. Country Delight, Clover Ventures, Fresh to Home, and Orinco gained significantly. Some of these F2C startups saw 10 times reduction in customer acquisition. People came up on their own, and 2.5 to 3 times growth in volumes during COVID-19. Next, please. There has been a rising penetration of smartphones. Today, there is a sudden explosion, and Professor Mani mentioned about my days in the telecom ministry. In fact, Professor Mani and I have been colleagues in the past, and he is a very celebrated and renowned technocrat. So smartphones, whatever we envisaged at that time, 20 years ago, we have far exceeded. And there is a very deep and wide penetration in our rural areas. There has been spread of internet, means Vani and low-cost data, making farmers increasingly tech-savvy, especially the younger generation. Increased adoption of precision agriculture, ad-based crop advisory services, and farm mechanization. Companies like Cropin saw a spike in demand for remote monitoring solutions. Some others like Fasal and Ruwaka increased demand for their hardware solutions. And startups working towards improving market linkages between farmers, traders, and buyers gained, like Agnest, Samunnati, Stellapse, Arya, accelerated the digitization of agri markets and warehouse storage by farmers. For example, one of the startups, what they did was they compiled data on the availability of storage facilities in the region, and farmers could access that and see where they could store their produce. Stellapse saw 5 times growth in demand for its IoT-based daily solutions. Next, please. Investment trends to go in AgTech now. Testing and tracing technologies is something which going to be much demand because it's current times because of food safety concerns, as I said, and there is no geographic boundary limitations because now farmers are allowed to seamlessly trade anywhere in one country only. Technologies that are B2B have better chance of success, and space is very crowded now. Technologies that are convenient, mobile, and affordable will take the lead and get perfected and will come to stay. Next, please. Here in some of these slides, I have tried to demonstrate in a slightly more interesting way the various startups which have come up, like Dehat, it is also DHeart, help disintermediate the supply chain by connecting farmers directly with Horeca players back to pre-COVID-19 levels, and has seen 20% rise in AgroStar, Ninja Cart, Aqua Connect. These are the companies which have risen fast, and it's not going to be long before we see some of them becoming unicorns in the agriculture or Agri-Tech sector. Next, please. Then other notable capital raising activity, 68.4 million was raised by players alone. Cool, we raised $32 million, and the sources were LGT, Untitled Chapter, and Northern. Kisan raised 2.9 million from Agri-Ventures and Ventures and Agri-Tech. 10 million AL Fund Ventures, Tempo Ventures, and Intello Lab 6 million Nexus, Omnivore, Sama Capital, Dehat again, Egg Funder, We Grow. All these investors have been very active looking at India, and Sequoia and Tiger and Sequoia. Most of these major investors around the world, they are looking at India, which they see as the market, as the future for the agro-tech industries. Next, please. As I said, the prominent investors are Sequoia Capital, Excel. Excel, by the way, was the company which also brought out that report which I mentioned. Tiger Global, Newbie, Influence, Egg Founder, Egg Funder, Bertelsmann, Nexus, Omnivore. And in Omnivore was also with Excel responsible for that study which demonstrated how Indian agri-tech space is now becoming very, very attractive. Next, please. There have also been cross-border investment both in terms of technology and in terms of investment, because the same technology sometimes is used in more than one country, for example, in Indonesia and Sri Lanka and also in India. These Intello Labs, Indigo, Atlantic. So some of them were started in India and became global. Some of them started abroad and they are in India. Can we go to the next, please? There are cases for leveraging technology across segments and startups delivering it. So data analytics, data platforms, imaging, artificial intelligence use, platforms to produce for producing traceability, robotic blockchain, which you referred in your initial remark, and I will work on these things later. These are used in big ways in this part. Can we go to the next one? Modern day startups, they are enablers of agri-tech revolution. This Biject, for example, is B2B agri-commodities trading platform, supply chain management, facilitates free trade of agricultural commodities. Supply chain is closely linked with agricultural traders and transporters. And the investors, Sequoia is one of the biggest one in the world, and RTP Global, Omidyar, all these, they are investing there. It enables traders, wholesalers, and food processors to keep a ledger of their transactions, transparent pricing, optimize logistics, improve working cycles, and so on. Digitization is the key word for all these startups using modern technology. Next, please. Nikki Asia again and Micro, these are using big data, and again you refer to big data, artificial intelligence and machine learning to provide insights on how to increase yields, the best crops for a given type of soil, and the timing on when to grow them. It's a very interesting, the application of artificial intelligence when through drones and other things, they are able to get a feel of the impact of any pest or whatever, or the condition of the crops, the color and everything, and then feed it into the AI and get what is the best time and what are the best applications and inputs to be applied there. So use of AI and big data is coming in a big way. And also in regional languages, they are functional in Hindi, Gujarati, English. So we hope that such applications will catapult and would boost our production and productivity. Next, please. The financing that got materialized during lockdown alone, the point I was trying to raise that during the COVID, they saw a big boost, the Agri-Tech. So April to May, we could see these startups. They got financing. Goes Egg Producer Global. They had Intello Labs and Byjack. So I tried to demonstrate what are the business areas and how much is the funding they got and the funding agency from where they got. So it is very interesting that the COVID-19, instead of dampening the spirit of these startups, it in fact gave them a big boost because digitization was the keyword. Next, please. So again, this slide shows in 2020, in the year till date, which are the various startups and what are they doing. Warehousing and supply chain, for example. Funding, they got pre-series A, B, C, and from where. Next, please. Again, same thing, notable capital raising, 68.4 million was raised by 6 players alone. We have demonstrated this thing earlier. Next, please. Now, here we have tried to show what are the type of agri startups as of April I'm talking about. So, market linkage with farm inputs, 7 of them, $50 million they got. Precision agriculture and farm management, again 224, 1926 million. Quality management and traceability 13, supply chain tech and output market linkage 85, and financial services. Next, please. Funding this is 2016 to 2020, again the same thing. Shall we go to the next, please? Let me mention briefly about the efficiency in irrigation. Last night, during his, I'm sure you would have seen the PM's speech to farmers yesterday, and he mentioned specifically that our farmers भोले हैं, वो सोचते हैं कि जब तक कि पूरे खेत में पानी नहीं फैलेगा, तब तक उनकी फसल को फायदा नहीं होगा. This is something which they need to change because there is so much wastage. We are using almost 80% of our water consumption in agriculture, and producing the output is hardly 30% out of that. The rest goes waste. So instead, if we only apply water as per need through micro irrigation, through techniques of drip irrigation, sprinkler, variety of modern technical methods, apply where it is needed, when it is needed, and direct to the roots, probably we can save on water, which is becoming scarce, and increase our productivity and quality of our produce. Next, please. Again, something which I tried to bring in here. We do hear frequently कि हरियाणा पंजाब से दिल्ली में बहुत धुआं आ रहा है, there's a lot of pollution, stubble burning. So we need to apply some thought to it, and some technology need to go into it. So when combined harvester leaves crop residues, so how to take care of the crop residues, use it productively, waste to wealth. There are various techniques available, and I'm sure the new technologies can take care of this problem as well. Next, please. There are these stubble burning incidents and so on, and the floating carbon stock, where these have brought in a lot of health problems and brought bad name to some of the practices there. So this slide shows from where it has come and how it can be sort of measured and stuff like this, just to flag the problem. Next, please. Something which again was mentioned by the Prime Minister, and it is also in one of the slides which I have brought in subsequently, medicinal plants, herbal plants, which are particularly useful in Ayurveda and have been recommended during COVID-19. And India, with its diverse agroclimatic conditions and soil conditions, it's very well positioned, and they can bring in high value in terms of exports and in terms of uses also. In fact, globally, there is a trend now towards using these God-gifted herbs and plants for treatment of diseases. And our Ayush is also being very active in this thing. Next, please. In fact, there is availability of subsidy on some of these plants, which I have tried to list. And many of these plants are very well known. Some of us use them also, like isabgol and tulsi and so on. And I'm sure going forward, India has a great advantage in boosting its production of some of these medicinal plants. Next, please. For the waste management in agriculture, there are various techniques: field waste, weeds and straws, animal waste, animal dung, dead bodies, agro-industrial waste can be used in molasses and peels. And these can be used for ethanols, for green energy, for treatment, recycling, biogas production, biofertilizer production. Traditionally, गांव में हम लोग उपले बनाते थे from cow dung and so on, used for fuel. But now there are better techniques. So I'm sure there would be some application of technology in waste management in agriculture. There is a very strong linkage between agriculture and environment. And I think we need to apply a thought on that also. Next, please. Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, this is something which is the theme of our talk today. And I just try to set the stage. And this is something where we are all focusing, and the government is working a lot in this area. There are 5 pillars of self-reliant India: economy, quantum jump. We can't go linearly. We can't go in a straight line now, or incremental changes, dy by dx. We have to make a quantum jump. Infrastructure, again, system, technology-driven. Demography, we have an advantage when we have a democracy and more than 50% of our population is less than 30 years of age, and they are aspirational. So we are right now an aspirational population. They want the best, and they know what they want, and they have access to digital technologies. There is a good demand, and it's building up. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, as Professor Mani mentioned, that in the package of 20 lakh crores announced by the Prime Minister, 10% of GDP, which it was, substantial part was also allocated to agriculture, which I'll describe in a moment. And there is a focus on land, labor, liquidity, and laws to cater to laborers, middle class, cottage industry, MSMEs, etc. And bold reforms, which we have tried to include in the end, is the need of the hour. Next, please. The finance minister, in the third tranche of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, she made these allocations: 1 lakh crore agriculture fund for farm gate infrastructure, 4,000 crore for herbal cultivation, which I just now mentioned, 10,000 crore scheme for formalization of micro food enterprises, 20,000 crore for fishermen, 15,000 for animal husbandry, 500 crore for infrastructure development, for beekeeping, and amendments to Essential Commodities Act. And I'll talk about some of these farm laws. Also, agricultural marketing reforms, extension of Operation Greens to all fruits, legal framework to help farmers fix their own price and products, and launch of National Animal Disease Control Program. Some of these building blocks of Atmanirbhar Abhiyan, they are very important and relevant in present day today to boost our productivity and help our farmers. Next, please. Agriculture sector got a 1.5 lakh crore boost, and some of these things which I have just now described, there are more details given there for cattle, buffaloes, sheep, pigs, and so on. For paucity of time, I'll run through it now. Next, please. Technology investment, it's a necessity for India. It is not something which is an option. It is technology is an existing space that includes trends from artificial intelligence to smartphones, blockchain, self-driving technologies, software as a service, Internet of Things, streaming media services, and more on. As Dr. Mani said, these things are now becoming part of our daily life. When we, during the COVID times, watch on television, we can see on today on there are so many Netflix and the Hotstar and Z and everything. So there are OTTs available, and you can see everything wherever, whatever you are interested. An area full of opportunity. I mentioned this because you can get a lot of relevant stuff pertaining to the technologies which we are talking about. This is an area full of opportunity, but also risk, because technology changes quickly, and one-time leader can be quickly out of date. And I'll quickly mention here for a few seconds that in 1998, Kodak, we used to buy Kodak films when we used to travel abroad. And very soon it became history within a matter of a year or so, because the digital technology came and everybody started using cameras based on digital technology. You could see the picture, you could store it. Nobody buys any Kodak films. Earlier at the custom duty free and so on, we used to pick up those films. So nobody knows about those Kodak things anymore. So these are the kind of disruptive technologies which are taking place, and earlier technologies, they go out of business. So evolution of technology has grabbed the interest of the general public and investors alike. Technology, by the way, as we know that the richest people of the world, they are technocrats, whether you talk of Bill Gates or you talk of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and so on. So people who have invested in technology, the Tesla chap, so all these people, they are occupying the top positions in the world league in riches, because technology is the future. So therefore, they also look at India, where the hunger, the need, the absorbability of technology is the maximum. Next, please. Recent trends in digital technology, and we just mentioned, you alluded to it: blockchain, data analytics, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, Internet of Things, automation and robotics, and cloud computing, and so on. And we are fortunate that one of the countries is now technocrat, Professor Mani, is with us. He can, in due course of time, elaborate more on these things. Next, please. The platform economy in the digital world is the most upcoming thing, and in every sector, economic and social activity, all are facilitated by digital platforms. We all know about e-commerce in goods and services. We know about Walmart, we know about Amazon, we know about Flipkart and all these e-commerce companies. We know about services, Urban Clap and so on. You can get any electrician or plumber and so on, the click of a button. Everything is available, or Zomato or whatever it is, everything is available digitally. True platform economy is fast and flexible, enabled by digitalization technologies, giving birth to disruptive digital platform economies. As I said, we have disruptive technologies erupting every day, and the earlier business models, they fall by the wayside. And they provide tremendous opportunities for SMEs and startups, and our brain power, our youth, they are endowed with that. They've made their mark. Most of the American companies, whether you talk of Google or Microsoft and whatever it is you may take, IBM and so on, they are headed by Indians. So Indian brains, Indian brain power, they have made their mark around the globe. And even now, Bangalore is known to be the Silicon Valley of the country, and everywhere in Andhra and Gurgaon, next door. So we can see a number of tech startups flourishing, and Indian brain power, Indian youth, they are doing a lot. There is another company by the name of tourhq.com, started off by a young couple. They can bring experiences, global experiences, destinations, Bethlehem, Berlin, Aarti in Hardwar, or wherever it is, direct to your home. You can have virtual experience sitting in your home by click of a button, and at the cost of just a movie or a dinner out. So right now things are changing. You don't have to go around. On Christmas, you don't have to go to Bethlehem. You don't have to go to Rome to hear Pope. And all these things you can watch through this tourhq.com. Next, please. And why IoT, AI, big data, and smart farming is the future of agriculture. We've tried to demonstrate their applications in soil health, in crop advisory, in revenue market dynamics. So this diagram demonstrates how they are used, interconnecting the various segments of agriculture and its operations. Next, please. Smart farming is an emerging concept that refers to managing farms using technologies like precision farming equipment, IoT, AI, big data analytics. As I said, drones. They can take. They can view the condition of crops from the top, robotics and so on, and the data which they collect, it's fed through artificial intelligence. And devise the solutions which are specific for this. And we can be going in for a third green revolution. In fact, I'm tempted to call it evergreen revolution. If we employ these technologies on a sustainable basis, and now we are in a state of nuclear fission, that many of these things will lead from one to another itself. So that's why I would like to call it evergreen revolution. And I'm very optimistic and excited about the future of Indian agriculture and its contribution to the Indian economy, which is going to go up substantially. The digital transmission network, DTN, uses big data to improve yields. Bayer uses big data to ensure sustainable food production. Next, please. I'm conscious of the time, so I'm rushing a little bit. Next one, please. Digital technology drivers for the future of agriculture, and they are equipping agriculture with emerging technologies. As I said, many of these things, they form the building blocks of the future of agricultural operations in India. New computing technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data, virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things, and so on. All these things, they sound to be things which have no application or no uses for agriculture, but now agriculture is probably going to use them to the maximum, and it's going to transform the shape of Indian agriculture in a big way. Next, please. I just completed fog computing, edge computing, mobile computing, social media, big data analytics. We have covered generally spatial technology. Next, please. Geomatics. Next, please. Tech platforms or manipulation machines. US legislation passed in 1996 exempted internet platforms from responsibility of regulating the content on their websites. At that time, they wanted to promote them in a big way, but this allowed Amazons and Facebooks and Googles and other tech giants to become the most powerful middlemen in history. And now they are facing antitrust litigation in United States and Europe. But they have become so big. Apple, for example, more than $2 trillion. And Google, Amazon, more than $2 trillion. In fact, their value is more than GDP of several countries together. So, in fact, these companies, their total valuation will be maybe around 1/5 of the total GDP of United States. They have become very big, and it is thanks to the technologies. Next, please. What is technology investing? I just mentioned about farm, these companies, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. And fourth industrial revolution has been tied to various technology arenas with the artificial intelligence, and they are banking on industry 4.0. They are exploding. They are getting bigger and bigger. As I said, there is a network effect. One thing leads to another, and they buy startups. Can you imagine that this Instagram, it was bought for $1 billion when it was not worth even 400 million? And this WhatsApp, it was bought for $22 billion. And the value has suddenly gone up through networking effects. One thing led to another. It has, in India alone, had more than 400 million users. And it's being used now for fintech and so on. And value is growing. Next, please. And what is technology investing? World Economic Forum, they've suggested that the countries invest in cyber security infrastructure because there are risks also, cyber security to mitigate risk for digital and connected systems. And large cap technology stocks are very good to start. In fact, if I had money and I could invest in USA, I would be very happy to put my money there and see it multiplying. Artificial intelligence, robotics, esports, virtual reality, and blockchain are just for the few niche sectors. But in India, they are coming in a big way. And I'm sure our Bombay Stock Exchange and the Sensex and the Nifty, they are also going to see explosion in some of these stocks. Next, please. Top 10 emerging technologies worth investing in 2020: Internet of Things, voice technology, augmented and virtual reality, smartphone devices, 5G, which is coming in a big way now. And we see every day something or the other new coming. Next, please. Edge computing, Internet of Autonomous Things, distributed cloud, blockchain. Blockchain alone has a potential of 3.1 trillion, according to a report. Next, please. Forecast robotics, AI, mobile technology. Research firms like Pricewaterhouse and Gartner are tracking as many as 150 different technologies with the aim of identifying technology sectors that are showing promise. And India actually is a laboratory for many of these technology applications. And in one of the slides, and I'm sorry, I'm probably taking too much time, I try to demonstrate that both the world big, like Google and so on, and the Indian bigs should, and they are, investing in R&D, which would take them to good stead, how they can use. The other day I was watching on Google X, the kind of researches they are doing, amazing. So we have no idea what we are in for in the technology explosion tomorrow. Next, please. 25 technology trends that will define the next decade. I don't wish to read for paucity of time. Some of these things we have already covered. There are a few more things, including nanotechnology and material sciences, and resilience, cybersecurity, and the natural language processing. I was very interested to see Google has just come out an app by which, I mean, for a multilingual country like India, there could be a real-time natural language translation and cloud fog, edge computing, and so on. So wearable and augmented humans. So you could be a walking computer with, you know, all wrapped around stuff and be anywhere. Next, please. The present and future of food tech investment opportunity. Food tech is extremely important, and this is going to see an explosion in technology. And when we talk of food tech, we not only talk about food processing, we talk of packaging also, the modern techniques of packaging, the storage, the transportation, and so on. How can you make sure that you reach the produce to the end consumer quickly? Next, please. Investment trends to watch. As I said, Agri-Tech, plant health and nutrition, animal health and nutrition, equipment and data, and food technology includes cultured meat. For people like us, I'm a vegetarian. I mean, there are people who are talking about cultured meat, novel ingredients, plant-based proteins, food safety, and so on. Amazing stuff we can't even imagine. Some of these films we see on Netflix and Hotstar and so on to see how things are. Gone are the days when kids used to see the Star Wars and so on. So these things are becoming reality now. Next, please. The rise of problem solvers. So many of these startups, they are problem solvers. Farm to Fork has seen the largest investment activity. It's changing the way of life, and it's going to improve the health also. The people, when they get fresh stuff, an investment has to flow into segments that has not yet received. So the investors are getting active and very interested in India, and they've also reaped very good results also in many cases where they've invested. Next, please. By the way, in result shows me, the other day I was reading an article that Walmart, when they bought Flipkart for something like $18 billion, they are probably all, from the media report, they are probably going in for a public issue of $40 billion and so on, where their evaluation is that. Whatever it is, I'm not talking about this, but the investors, they are not fools. When they come to India and they invest in India, they see the potential. They see the demographic advantage that India has. They see the potential on the ground where we are. So farm automation, agri-fintech, agri-insures, one of the key barriers is a lack of mainstream agriculture research community and government agriculture department not adequately supporting and partnering, but yes, it's coming up in a big way. Next, please. FDI in the agriculture sector, which is also part of the theme of talk today, and Professor Mani, he alluded to this. With 57.35 million hectares, India holds the second largest agriculture land in the world. Tremendous potential, rising population, globalization, aspirational population. Agriculture is a highly attractive sector. Next, please. At present, 100% FDI is allowed through automatic routes in many of these areas, and floriculture, horticulture, apiculture, cultivation of vegetables and seeds, planting material, etc. All these areas, FDI is allowed either automatically or 100% through government route, freely available. Next, please. It is available. It is coming also in agriculture and also in food processing. Tremendous potential in rain-fed agriculture, and some of the matters relating to regulatory hurdles and infrastructure bottlenecks need to be taken care of. I briefly mentioned in the concluding slide. Next, please. MEA, by the way, Ministry of External Affairs, has just launched a site just about 8 or 10 days ago. Link farmers with investors, www.indbiz.gov.in. So this is to connect the farmers and their organizations, organizations, it could be the EPIDA and direct farmers, with foreign investors. So you can log in and you can connect. You can get investment from abroad. You can also sell your produce abroad. So it's a two-way linkage through this MEA website. A very interesting development. Next, please. This is what I just now showed, that MEA is now getting very active to connect the foreign investors with Indian agriculture. Next, please. I just now mentioned that some of the private corporations also are taking a lot of interest in investing in R&D. Google AI, Google X, you can see they have done a lot. You can log in on Google X and see what they are doing, artificial intelligence in agriculture. Badwani AI is doing a lot in this area, for instance. Next, please. this escorts Rajananda Innovation Lab. They are doing a lot. And by the way, you have seen their stock market rising. Their tractor is becoming extremely popular, agricultural mechanization, their equipment, and they are doing a lot of new things. 5 tech startups they have incubated, and more are coming in. They are getting funding from there. Next, please. But I would suggest more and more Indian corporates should come in this area. A quick word about this, these 3 central farm acts, which you can see a lot of coverage in media, and we have learned a lot about this, but probably it is not realized that all that we have talked about would not be possible unless we have these farm laws coming into place, because 80% of our farm holdings, as you rightly mentioned, they are less than 2 hectares and small and marginal farmers. They don't have wherewithal to invest, and where they don't know about these technologies, how are they going to invest these things? So unless they combine together into FPOs, farmers producer organizations, and they become part of the larger value chain. And I've studied these farm laws very, very meticulously. I don't see anything in these farm laws which could be a matter of concern. You are only adding to the choices. If I'm a farmer, I have a choice to go to Mandi. I have a choice to enter into a contract with a private party and sell him. If suppose we are selling something at 1500 rupees a ton, and I get 20 or 2500 rupees a ton, sure, I should get it. There's no downside to it. And I'm sure many youngsters would get startups to collect all this. So this could be another area, but I don't know why there is a reservation. But all these things would be dependent, the application of technology and the linkages and so on, through these farm reforms. Otherwise, we are stuck in the past, going to mandis, and we can't change to new things and new technologies and new turnaround. Next, please. The ecosystem situational analysis, doubling farmers' income, which you mentioned, Professor Mani, in the beginning. So all these things are listed here. If we want to double the farmers' income by 2022, if we want to achieve Atmanirbhar Bharat, if we want to be vocal for local in terms for our agricultural produce, I think we have to take into account some of these things which I have just mentioned. Next, please. And these things are very important. And since you represent Shobhit University, the Digital Network for Farmers, DNF, and then other, this thing, MTech in Agricultural Informatics, BTech in Agriculture Informatics, some of these areas of education and research for our youth are going to be extremely beneficial in catapulting our agriculture and agriculture production, productivity, processing, and everything, the entire value chain, to a futuristic level and achieving what we want to see tomorrow. Next, please. Science, technology, and innovation. There are various subsectors: agriculture, horticulture, sericulture, and so on. Agriculture 4.0, genomics, robotics, informatics, nanotechnology. A very good word, green revolution, as distinct from green revolution. Green, genetics, robotics, informatics, and nanotechnology. And I still remember many of these things were talked about. I had occasion to work in the Ministry of Agriculture some time ago. Some of these things were coming up, not so much, but later on, when Dr. Abdul Kalam was the president of India, and I had some association with him. Secretary used to go to him occasionally. He was very fond of sitting on his computer and showing what nanotechnology can do for India and stuff like this. So very interesting. And digitized agriculture, SMAC, ICT, IoT, and so on. I think the future is extremely exciting with science and technology and new innovations. Next, please. Inclusive agricultural commodity value system. And again, many of these building blocks will go into Atmanirbhar Bharat through technology application and ICT. Next, please. Whether it is in logistics or the chain, digital technology in agriculture and big data and artificial intelligence, it will all come in a big way. And the uses through social media and TV and OTT and so on. Next, please. Doubling farmers' income by 2022. And Professor Mani, I think you were a member of that committee. You can, you would know much better. Digital technology in agriculture and empowering the farmers. You referred to these things in your these things. So next, please. We are just wrapping up now in another minute or two. Just wrapping up. Next, please. These are the recommendations which you were part of it at that time through smart irrigated agri-systems, rain-fed agri-systems, tribal agri-systems, agromet advisories, and so on. Next, please. Then 2022 mission mode program. This is something which I just wanted to mention for a minute. I think we have to take up all these things in a mission mode. And we cannot afford to continue the situation as a normal. There has to be a new normal. We have to make a quantum jump. We have to leapfrog into the future. So a mission mode is needed. Next, please. And in case we can have these agri startups 6,500, which you mentioned in your initial remarks, one per panchayat. It would, others would have an effect by watching it. So I think this is something which is needed, and probably there is need of a ministry of rural infrastructure and digitization of agriculture, where all these things could be added. Next, please. Way forward, digital technology is going to be the driver of the future of future of agriculture. Operationalization of 7 mission mode project, which you also mentioned. AgTech innovators. India requires at least one AgTech startup in every Gram Panchayat. Capital flows into AgTech startup ecosystems. Next, please. Mainstream agriculture research community and government agriculture departments. India is among the 15 leading exporters of agricultural products in the world. Hence, digital technology investment in agricultural value chains. High time, as I said, Government of India considers creation of a Ministry of Rural Infrastructure Technology Investment through FDI. I can see the Chancellor, Mr. Shobhit Kumar, also joining. My greetings to you. We had a terrific session today, thanks to Professor Mani. I just wanted to end by adding one personal anecdote. I can see Professor, the Chancellor Shobhit University also joining. That our farmers are very innovative. Professor Mani, I used to be secretary in the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Once I took a meeting of all my officers and asked them that on this eastern highway, there are a lot of accidents, and let us put road dividers, reflectors. 3M company, they had come out with those reflectors which in the night would be visible. So if trucks are going, so you could divide the road, going and coming. So we fixed that in several miles stretch to see the result. After 2 months, I took a meeting whether the number of accidents have come down. I was shocked to see that there is no change. So I asked why. So the farmers in the neighboring villages, they took out, ukhad ke le gaye wo strips, and they affixed it on the ye singo pe laga diya apne gayon ke aur bailon ke, so that they could see them in the night when they were returning after the dusk. So they were very innovative. I said, yes, there's a very good application. They need to be given that. So thank you very, very much once again, Professor Mani, and thank you, Chairman Kumar Shekhar Vijayendra ji. And I really enjoyed being here. And as I said in the beginning, you were not here. I had a very affectionate relationship with your university when you initially granted me that honorary doctorate. And once you went visited me in the World Bank office. So thanks and my best wishes for your growth, and wish you a very, very happy new year to you and to your family. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar ji. And it was a very wonderful day. Hope that the many departments of the Government of India, including Finance Ministry, Agriculture Ministry, Niti Aayog, and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, have listened to your talk. You have given a complete way forward. You talked about from the bottom up process. You've given a complete, even though even though the talk was on technology investment and agriculture value chain role of FDIs, but you have given a complete agriculture value system, technology enabled agricultural value system. And it is a big day for us in the university and also for the international webinar series. As we rightly said it, that this will, facilitate and motivate the lot of agri startups in at least one in Gram Panchayat. And the way forward which you have given, that with your vast experience as from the World Bank and also from three Government of India Secretary to Government of India departments, that you have given an suggestion to the government that if agriculture has to be the main face of India, you please establish Ministry of Rural Infrastructure for technology enablement at the grassroots level. So let me, it's with this one, and let me invite the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra, to give his, remarks. Over to the Chancellor.
Good afternoon, everybody. Indeed, it's an honor for me to join this webinar series today, where the keynote speaker is Dr. Dhanendra Kumar. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar is not only a former technocrat or a former chairman of Competition Commission of India or former secretary to India. He is from Gango, from the native place I hail. We all hail from there. An elder brother and mentor and guide. This is what he is. And today when I was listening to him, to his presentation on technology investment in agriculture value chain role of FDIs. So initially I was thinking that he will be talking about finances because I visited him in World Bank. I saw him very deep in finances and other things. I was thinking he will talk about technology because he had been responsible for electronics and other departments in the ministry. But he was talking from heart. He was talking right from all those issues, those who need a policy. He was talking to those grassroots matters also which need to be addressed. चाहे वो पुराली जलने का इशू हो या उपले बनाने की बात हो, everywhere technology can play an important role. And this is what this international webinar series is meant for. We understand as a university, we are here to create awareness. And I always believe when knowledge creation will be there, value creation will happen. And from value creation, wealth creation will happen. And this is what Professor Moni is trying to do very persistently from last many years. And especially this COVID times have given us an opportunity to reach out to wonderful people like you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, for being with us today. It's an honor indeed. Everything has been talked about. The main purpose of this webinar series is to know the possibilities, how to become Atmanirbhar, how to fulfill the aspirations of our Prime Minister when he says India has to be self-reliant. And if I look at Atam Nirbharta, self-reliant India, 5 I's are there: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation. Yes, intent is there. We have to see that how inclusion happens, because when we talk about Agri-Tech companies, when we talk about technology, AI, big data, IoT, and all those things, inclusion is missing somewhere. Because we have to see that those marginal farmers, those who are standing on the last state of the society, they need to be included in this journey of development. And yes, it can be included by creating possibilities more and more at grassroots level. Investment is a big hurdle, because when we look at FDIs also, be it horizontal, vertical, or whatever way they are coming to us, they are coming with a very myopic vision that yes, we are there and we will do this thing particularly. If Coca-Cola is coming with an investment or anybody is coming with an investment. So we have to see again that that investment goes down the line. And infrastructure creation has to be there. Professor Moni, thank you very much for giving an idea of Ministry of Agriculture infrastructure. Yes, this country needs one such ministry also. Because if I look at the contribution of agriculture in India, right from GDP to the involvement or engagement of the youth and the complete demographical impact of agriculture, it is so large that yes, in today's time, we need a Ministry of Agriculture infrastructure, and I'm sure something will happen in that direction also. Because I have seen when you start talking for years and years and years, people start giving ear to your ideas. And it will happen soon, sure. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar was talking about a startup, a wonderful startup, Tour HQ. And this startup is basically helping people to visit destinations. If I want to go to see how the Christmas is happening in Moscow on Red Square, yes, I can do that live. I wish that such startups are there, those who can give us an opportunity to visit the farmers also. Because sitting in Delhi, especially our policymakers, if I look at, and the people, those who decide, especially those big four and all those blah, 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 they have to see what is actually happening in the life of farmers. Maybe a startup will be motivated from Tour HQ to start a journey where I can go and see what is happening with the farmers of Meghalaya. What the farmers are doing in Nagaland or in any other place, small place, or in my village, Gangu. And they can see, yes, this is happening, okay, now, and how I can help them, how I can put money there. Because not only FDI, we have to bring other investments also in agriculture, and which is very much required. Yes, there is a possibility of a lot of startups in this sector. And I'm really happy that by all the initiatives taken by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi ji and his government in last few years, the change is coming. When I was talking about this topic and I asked somebody in political arena that what is missing? FDI is coming, the government is sincere, intent is there, we all are working in that direction. What is missing? He said the road needs 4 important things. Road of success. R is responsibility, O is ownership, A is accountability, and D is discipline. And somewhere it is missing in the governance. So I believe that road of success will be more clear, more well identified, and we will be in position not only to attract people from the world, the investors, to come and invest in our agriculture sector, we will be in position to do the reverse also in near future. As Honorable Prime Minister aspires that we have to double the income of our farmers. Before that, we have to empower our farmers. We have to see that in spite of the fact that 3 central acts, they are good, as Dr. Dhanendra Kumar also vouched for, that for marginal and small farmers, it is good. That understanding has to be there. And for that, training part has to be there. And I am sure that at Shobit University, what we are trying to do, the same other universities in India, we have 1,000 plus universities, around 50,000 higher education institutions. If all together we will start doing it, working, talking about farmers, agriculture, how to change this scenario, definitely a big change will come. And when senior bureaucrats experience, those who have exposure and experience, global experience, they will join us. Definitely that change will come more faster. So thank you very much, Dr. Dhanendra Kumarji. Thank you, Professor Moni. It was wonderful. I'm honored to be a part of this webinar today. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kumar. It's a pleasure, privilege, and honor for me to be associated with this endeavor today. You refer to Gango. You touched a very soft corner in my heart. Anything connected with Gango takes overriding priority in my scheme of things. And someday we'll sit and I'll tell you, whenever anybody mentioned about Gango, when there was a talk about when I was City Roads, and there was a proposal which came to connect various places, I said, where is Gango? First connect Gango. So connect Karnal to Gango was connected. It's not for my personal this thing. But Gango, you have brought Gango on the global map on education with Shobit University. Not for any selfish interest, but it's an important place. So what you have done for Gango, nobody can forget. And I'm so grateful that you gave me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts. And Professor Moni, with whom I have had a very old association, lot of respect, is, as I said during my talk, one of the country's renowned technocrats, and I'm very hopeful and excited, optimistic that going forward, Shobit University is going to play a very big role in this field of Agri-Tech. Once again, my best wishes for a very happy new year and for a very exciting and golden future of Shobit University and your endeavors. Thank you so much.
Guest speaker, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, and Honorable Chancellor of the University, and all the participants from India and abroad for participating in this very important webinar series on open source digital technology in Atmanirbhar Bharat on the topic technology investment in agriculture value chain role of FDI. Dr. Dhanendra Kumar has given way forward with more than 10 suggestions and action plan. It is not an action plan, it is an actionable plan for India to take a lead. And very important thing is that he said it, India is a technology laboratory. And the technology laboratory, and if you add the word with what the Chancellor said it, that let us have a tour to the farmers, and visiting 85% of the farming community, that is small and marginal farmers, is the way to take the technology to them. And Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, you said it very clearly that with the 7 mission mode projects, as suggested by the doubling the farmers' income by 2022 report, and the 3 legislation, and 1 agri startup in every Gram Panchayat, and also you talked about the discipline, the educational program in the area of agricultural informatics, as launched by the Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology, is the way forward for the country. And this is, I would like to bring it to a kind notice that Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology is the first private university in the world to establish 4 centers of excellence. One is Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, to bring technology to the doorsteps of rural India. And we have given our mission and vision put together to take the rural India Atmanirbhar Bharat. And we are very happy today that your talk, your 1 hour 30 minutes talk, is very inspiring, very motivating. Even though we know each other for more than 3 decades, but today I'm younger by 30 years. After listening to your talk, and which gives me more spirit to work with the Sobit Institute of Engineering and Technology to create another 6 more centers of excellence, which is the list which I have already given to the Honorable Chancellor to create it, because rural India is India. And if rural India is rural India is developed, India is developed, and will be the pathway for the entire world. And with this, we thank you, and we would like to, as you are associated with the Gango, and we would like to have you forever with us to take this journey. And we thank you very much for joining in this program. And we will convert your paper, your talk today, as a discussion paper for further discussion with the stakeholders, and to see to that Government of India, brings it necessary changes in its thinking process, and bring in a Ministry of Rural Infrastructure or Ministry of Agricultural Infrastructure and Digitalization in the country. Thank you very much. Greetings of the day. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for your participation, and greeting from Sobit University. For more research inquiries, please contact Professor Moni Maraswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. My email ID, moni@sobituniversity.ac.in. We close the seminar and leave the studio.